All right. So the reason that I wanted to do this video is, first of all, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I think that we here in America, well, actually around the world, but even here in America, there's such a stigma behind mental health issues and mental health illness. And a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to mental health, depression is in there, anxiety is in there. And these are a couple of things that, those are two things that I have struggled with throughout my life, and actually started at a very early age. Started with my childhood, and I can go into some of the background of that, but a lot of it I didn't even know. I didn't even realize what was happening to me, because sometimes, believe it or not, depression isn't what we think it is, or that most people believe that it is, which is somebody's bawling or crawled up in a corner, or or something like that, and it's just not the case. Sometimes when you're suffering, when you're having a bout with depression, sometimes it's as simple as just not feeling well, like you're lethargic, you just want to lay around the house, you don't want to be social with your friends and all that other stuff, and sometimes you don't even know that that's depression, but it is. It happened to me in my case. I thought, for the longest time, that the battles that I went through, the things that I had overcome, I just thought it was because, I was a big, strong, tough guy, a manly man, whatever you want to say. I didn't realize how the depression and the anxiety and stuff was really affecting me and affecting my life and my loved ones, the people around me. And it affected every portion of my life. It affected my, my social life with my friends. It affected my relationship with partners, and, with my, any relationship that I had. And most of the time, I couldn't even pinpoint why, to be honest, that I was depressed, or why, I suffered from anxiety from time to time. I know now because of the fact that I've seen a therapist, gone through some therapy, and gotten a little bit of help in that area, and skills to kind of get through those episodes. But I still have them. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I still have depression episodes. I still have anxiety episodes, and I think a lot of people do. But here's the thing: we have got to, and let me take that back. I don't think a lot of people do. I know for certain that most people do, and most people, unfortunately, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it because of the stigma that is attached to depression and anxiety and those kind of things. And especially, if you look back, I'll tell you what really got me. What really got me was, over the course of a few years, losing some prominent Hollywood figures, some prominent celebrities, not just Hollywood figures, but also sports figures and that kind of thing. Losing a few of them to suicide. It really opened my eyes, because when you think of depression, you look at people like Robin Williams, for instance, and you look at somebody like Robin Williams, who is openly just funny guy, always on the go. It never seemed, at least publicly, like he ever had a bad day. What could be going wrong with this guy? What could be going on in his life, right? That's everybody's thought, is like, he had everything. He's not the only one. There's many others, but that's the thing. Depression can hit anybody. It doesn't matter what your social class is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your upbringing is, to be honest with you. It really doesn't. I mean, it can be a contributing factor, and any type of trauma can be a contributing factor to any of this, but it doesn't have to be. That doesn't have to be one of the things that contributes, but it certainly can. But so I started thinking about why would this guy, how could he feel, depression and things. Now, keep in mind, I thought that because, and it was almost as if, to me, I'd been there before. I've been in that darkness. I'm not gonna lie, I've been there. I've been there where, and I mean, I hate to say it, but I've been there to where I've not wanted to be here anymore, right? On the face of the earth. And now I was able to walk away from that. I was able to step to the edge and turn it around and come back. But people don't understand. There is, like I said, that stigma. And so when somebody is prominent as a Robin Williams, a junior seau in the NFL, somebody as prominent as that feels this way, they're actually afraid to get help because of the judgment that comes with that, right? And they think, you think, we think, I think, these people they got everything, right? They got everything. How can they feel that depression? And if they did feel that, wouldn't it be better to go get help than to do, what they ultimately ended up doing? But the fact is that when you're in that state, most logical solutions, you don't think of them. They don't even matter. Because there's only one thing that matters when you're in that state, and that's to make it stop. To make it stop. And for whatever reason, these folks, they weren't able to pull back from that edge. They weren't able to get off the cliff, And so I think that a big portion of this, and what I would eventually, hopefully, like to do is to open up a conversation to where we can get rid of that stigma behind, because depression is an illness. Anxiety is an illness. It's just like, you know, it's just like contracting cancer. It's just like, emphysema, whatever the case may be. It is a disease. Mental illness is a disease, a treatable disease. It really is a treatable disease. But the harmful part, and the part that's the hard part, is the being able to seek help without judgment, right? Get that help without worrying about, look, if I stay here, and this is I can almost guarantee what went through the minds of some of these prominent people, and that was, I can end the pain, right? I can stay here, try to get help, and feel better. But when I get to that other side, what's left? Because at that point, I'm ruined. I don't have the career that I had. I don't have the friends that I had. I don't have, because of the stigma, the stigmatism that is attached to what they're feeling. And I know this because I felt it. I know this because I've seen it. I've lived it. I have shared my own struggle with depression and anxiety with people who I thought were very close friends. And it was pretty amazing to see how quickly those people could dart on you. And then you start thinking, well, if that person had dart on me, imagine what anybody else would do. So it's the stigmatism we got to get rid of. That's the part. When we can start looking at mental illness, which includes depression and anxiety, when we can start looking at that as an illness, as a disease, and it can be just as acceptable to tell somebody that you're suffering from a disease and that you need help. And when we get past that threshold, that's when we can make a difference. So my entire reasoning for starting this, starting my website, starting a YouTube channel, starting all that stuff, was to hopefully be able to spark a conversation. As we do a small part to maybe be able to help some folks. And let me tell you, if you are right now suffering from depression or anxiety, you're not alone. There are millions of people, millions of them, that are feeling just the way that you do. You may think that you're the only person that is in your current situation or anything like that, and that there's nobody that'll understand. That is the furthest thing from the truth. People that suffer from depression understand. The problem is they don't have like a, depression anonymous sign up sheet where people can just go and talk to other people that are depressed, or talk to other people that, may be able to feel the things. Because not only you feel those things, you've got to know the steps to be able to come out of that on the other side. You got to know, how do I get out of the darkness, as the shirt reads, as the walk implies, as how do I get out of that darkness, and how do I see my light? Now, I think at first you have to have faith. Some people, me included, I have faith in God, right? Like, I'm a Christian, so I have faith in God. It starts there, I think. In you don't necessarily have to believe in God. I'm not saying that. You don't have to necessarily be a Christian. You have to have faith in a higher power. And there's something there, somebody out there is watching. And there's a reason why we all go through these things. So, not all of us, but the majority of people that do. So I think it starts there. But here's the other thing. No matter what your situation is, no matter how dire you think it is, if you can go another day instead of doing today, right? Like, if you're right there at the end of your rope, you're ready, you're just ready to give up. Do yourself a favor, do me a favor, and say, not today. We'll look at it again tomorrow. Right? Not today. I'll look at it again tomorrow. Not happening today. Because I think with time and proper mindset, which you can teach yourself to have, then you can get beyond all of that and get into the light. Because once you've done this, once you've decided, okay, not today, right? And then tomorrow you say, okay, not today, maybe tomorrow, but not today. You keep doing that. You can do that for several days. Eventually, you're going to wonder, what else is there? What am I here for? I struggled with that too. That was a big thing for me. A big thing for me. And that's been for years, is, what did God put me on this earth for? Because I have faith in God. But why do I not know why I'm here? Right? So that was a big thing for me as well. I finally figured it out. I mean, I knew it all along, but I finally got what I thought was confirmation. But each person out there, you're here for a reason, and it's bigger than you. Right? I feel like I'm rambling. I don't even know if anybody's listening at this point, and I probably am rambling. But this is the first one of these that I've done, and I wanted to just get it started. Look, I built this little studio thing in another one of the rooms in the house, or a different room in the house. I have a spare bedroom in there that my boys aren't using or anything, and so I built a studio in there, and the sole purpose was for this, to do some live videos, to reach out to other people and to see if we couldn't spark a conversation and help one another and that kind of thing. But what I found out what ended up happening is I had that in that other room, and I'd ignore it, to be quite honest with you. I'd walk by, and it was in that other room. It was easy for me, out of sight, out of mind. And I'd lay around because, again, I had depression. I have depression. I deal with it all the time. No, it's not that. It's not always that debilitating type of depression, but it's there, and you have to recognize what it is. Because a lot of times, like I said earlier, you might think, I'm just tired. I'm just lethargic or something. I'll get over it. And a lot of times it will, but there's a reason that you're feeling that way. And for me, I realize that's what it is. And I realize that there are changes that I still have to make in my life. And I've come a long way. I can tell you, when you go from, both my biological parents tried to commit suicide. My mom tried to commit suicide while she was pregnant with me, 8.5 months pregnant with me. I was born. Um, it's a longer story than this, but I was born during emergency surgery while they were trying to save my mom as well from a drug overdose. Yeah. A couple years later, my father, my dad, who I didn't really have much of a relationship with, to be honest with you, and we'll talk about that later, but put a gun to his chest and pulled the trigger. So I think that and sometimes maybe maybe you inherit some of that depression, that whatever it is. But that was the beginning of my life. I mean, look, the beginning of my life almost never happened because of or because somebody being depressed, somebody suffering from mental illness, somebody trying to end it, and almost ended me at the same time. Very few people even know that story. There's a couple people that do here locally, and that's just because I'm starting to do some other things. I had a friend that asked me to write a book, to write my life story, and the very first part of that was about how there almost wasn't a story at all, and it tells the story of that whole situation, what happened, what drove my mom to do what she did, and I drove all of that, the madness in the beginning, right? Now, it's not the only thing. I mean, I've been through so much in my lifetime, so many different things. I mean, trust me, it's gonna be a long book. It's gonna be a big book because there's a lot of stuff to put in it. But the things that I've overcome, the things that I've been able to get past and not give up and to find that higher purpose, there are people out there right now that are struggling with. And that's why I want to talk about it. Okay. There was abuse in my childhood. There was I watched my mom be abused, myself, my brothers. I've seen some things that were just bad, were horrific. I, look, and I am saying these things. I'm only talking about these things because I know there's other people out there. And you may not be watching them right now, but if you see this or if somebody tells you about it, knowing or no, the reason I'm doing this is because I can. The reason I'm doing this is because I shouldn't be able to, but I can. I shouldn't be here, but I am. Okay. That's the reason I'm doing this, because I want to show somebody, anybody, one person, I want to show you, don't give up. Don't give up. Because there's something more for you. You just got to find it. And it'll be easier to find once you uncloud your mind and you start looking properly. But that's just the beginning. There's a lot more a lot more layers that I'm going to share with these videos in the future. But we need to get the dialogue started. We need to talk about these things. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to begin. I'm not sure how to start. But I figured this is a step. This is a step. And maybe we can go further. There's a little chat thing there. If you guys have a question, if you have a comment, you can put it right there and I can see it right now in real time. I can answer whatever question you have. I just want to make a difference, and I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I really don't. But I do think that it can't hurt. And maybe it helps one. You know, maybe it helps two, maybe it helps more, but we can help one. I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm good with helping anybody that we can. So the idea, again, get the conversation started. I know it's hard to talk about, but talk to somebody. Talk to me. If you don't want to put it out public, don't. I'm good with that. You can write me an email, right? Message me on social media, whatever the case is. If you don't want to talk about it publicly on here in the chat thing, I get it. I understand it. But if you want to have a conversation, if you want perhaps a little advice, maybe just somebody to talk to, because I can tell you that that's helpful too. I want you to reach out to me, okay? I'm going to give you a different email address than what I normally give, and that's the one for my website, okay? So if you want to send me an email, mojo@mojoradioshow.com, mojo@mojoradioshow.com, and I will see those right now. That's the only emails I'm getting on that email address because it's the first time I'm giving it out. So if you wanted to write me an email there, I can answer it. I can, maybe we can do private chat or whatever. If you think you just need somebody to talk to, I want an opportunity to help. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Okay? Because you're worth it. We're worth it. We lose, and this is not news to anybody anymore, which is kind of crazy that we're still having this conversation. We lose 22 veterans a day. Every day. To suicide. Main reason, I'm afraid to talk to people. I'm afraid to tell people what's going on because they're afraid of that stigma. All right. Let's start that conversation. Shoot me an email. I don't know if you can still put messages in there after there's a lot of things done. I don't even know if anybody's even listening to this. I don't know. It's the first one I've done on here, so I will get a little more polished at this, and I will also share more going forward, a little bit at a time, taking baby steps. Your first step, if you're feeling it, if you're feeling that depression, that anxiety, let's get that smile on your face, but let's make it a real one, right? Reach out to me and let's see what we can do. I love you guys. Thanks for checking this out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, share the channel, and let's see if we can't grow and get this conversation going a little bit. All right, we got to remove that stigma. We got to remove that stigmatism. And it all starts with one person, and that person is you. Okay. Love you guys. Join me on the radio tomorrow morning. 104.3 ZYP. Peace out.